sure that they have the needs to get the education they need without worrying about shelter.
You know, we work a lot with that. I know that, I know Susan Norton is here tonight, and we work a lot with homeless people in this city. And, you know, it's surprising to me to know that veterans are 33% of the homeless right now in this, not only just here, but in the country. And I think that needs to be addressed because everybody should have shelter. I think the challenge with it right now is that sometimes it's hard, and I work with several different groups, Seven Hills, and it's something that I don't see anybody homeless. I don't want to see any students homeless or anybody, and it's something that concerns me deeply because I want everybody to have a place to stay and food to eat and clothes to wear, and that's just kind of the way I'm geared. And you know, it's an issue that I know that I wish I had a great answer for you. I know I'm concerned about it, and we're working on it, and we're trying to get them in for counseling or whatever they need, and it's hard. It's not easy. I don't have, you know, and we work at it, and but the homeless is an issue, and you know, a lot of people, they just kind of pretend like maybe they don't exist, but they do exist. They are real people, and we need to help them. But you know, some of the things that we're doing is, I know the Seven Hills has got a program going, and some of the churches, I know that the Lutheran Church, I work with them on that, and the veterans, I work with them. I sit on committees with that. We're trying to help. We're trying to address it, but it's a, and you don't really know how many that we actually have. And I have always been an accommodating kind of mayor and accepted everybody, and so they're here, and we need to help them. And I'm doing the best I can with what I have. Okay, we'll get there. We just need to work at it. Everybody together.
Thank you. Next question. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I feel that last year Fayetteville made great strides in passing the human rights ordinance to protect a group of our citizens that I feel need that protection, the gay, lesbian, and transgender people in our community. And I appreciate your advocacy and support on that. It seems recently the state has used that to double down their efforts to go forward with these draconian measures to pass these ridiculous bathroom bills and punish unfairly a portion of our society. And if that comes to pass, I wonder where you'll stand and what you'll do to protect the citizens of Northwest Arkansas that will possibly be affected and discriminated against by this.
I've spent my life fighting for equality, diversity, and inclusion. I don't know nothing else. And you know, I believe that everybody should be accepted, no matter what the color of their skin is, their religious belief, or who they love. Would I be against that? I would. Because I believe we need to be inclusive, not exclusive. And to keep, you see, we don't build walls and fences around this city, we tear them down. I know when that came, and I didn't actually sponsor either one of those, but I knew what I'd do when it got there. I see one of the council members, Della Gray, and I'm proud of the work that she did, and Matthew Petty. They need to be commended for their work on that. They need to be commended for that. We're all in this thing together, and we'll get there together. And I will stand for equality. You see, there's nothing complicated about equality. It's not about special rights, it's about equal rights, and everybody being treated the same. And it's not always, I support the LGBTQ community, I support the ERA, I support African Americans, everybody. all in this thing together, right? Right? Okay, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. You're good, doing a good job. Next question. Yes, sir.
I'd love to hear more about your vision for Fayetteville in the future. So we know that like the whole area of Northwest Arkansas is growing, like, clearly. So sort of in the next 5 to 10 years, what do you see as sort of the biggest challenges for Fayetteville? Like,
Well, the first thing we're gonna do, give me a moment or two.
You've got 3 minutes to withdraw.
You've seen it before. This is 4-lane boulevarded road, and right now we're gonna have this done by about 2018, all the way to Mount Comfort, and then we're gonna hook it into Howard Nichols Road. That's going to set the tone because we're building our trail system, we're building our road system, and upon that, it's going to be the economic driver for what we're going to need. This is going to be the plan. We are looking at things like affordable broadband. We got kids right now in school, their parents can't afford broadband, and that needs to be fixed and that needs to be changed. And when I see kids that can't do their homework because their parents can't afford broadband, that needs to be changed. That's one of the things we're going to do in the next 4 years, is get affordable broadband for every citizen. Working with our partners, Ozark Electric, AT&T, Cox Communication, to try and bring affordable broadband, and that's going to change the whole face of this city. We're going to continue to build our infrastructure. We're going to continue to support equality for all people. We're going to develop partnerships. We're going to continue our great partnerships. We're going to continue to build the infrastructure. We're going to stand up for people's rights. And we're going to build that box. We're going to continue our alternative trail systems. I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. We're not here to...
Thank you. Finished that thought?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, great.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
I'm not finished.
I didn't
I'm
mean
just
to
getting
interrupt. I
started.
didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. Next question. Yes, sir.
Hi. So as an avid scooter motorcycle enthusiast, I think that that's a major part of the Fayetteville experience, what makes Fayetteville funky. I've gotten a general notion, a minor notion, from the disappearance of some motorcycle and scooter parking on Dixon, such as in front of the Walton Arts Center, that scooting and motorcycles may not be as much part of Fayetteville's future as I would like it. Where do you see this going, and will this be removed?
Well, I support the scooters and different modes of transportation, but right now we have looked at, we've got a lot of scooter folks coming in, and I know that we just passed an ordinance that they had to have insurance though, and I don't know if that discouraged folks, but they need to have the insurance. But I'm a supporter of the scooters being able to get around town, just like I am the bicycles. I'm certainly supportive of it and open. And what suggestions would you have? I'm sorry.
Well, there was another bit I meant to mention. My truck gets about 15 miles to the gallon.
Mm-hmm, mine too.
My scooter, 120 plus.
Yeah. Yep.
So, in addition to it being an economical and environmentally conscious means of transportation for me, it also is conducive to lower income people to be able to get around town, where the bus system may not be the best solution for them. So this is another part of my concerns. Whether or not that is something that Fayetteville is going to really try to push and support, or if it's just going to be kind of left to its own.
No, we're going to support that. I'm going to support that. I think the council members I have on there will support that as well. I mean, I see a couple of them sitting out there, and we got a good council, and they're very open-minded and progressive. Most of them are very open-minded and progressive. And I believe that they will do what's right, and they're into alternative transportation. And they want to be sure that people are allowed to use the scooters. And I agree with you. I think we gotta, we gotta look at that. We gotta get off the gas. I mean, we've got to get these automobiles and things to where we can, it's, I've got a Jeep and I love that Jeep, but boy, let me tell you, it's like 12 or 14 miles a gallon and it's paid for, but it would be, I keep stuff a long time too. But yes, I'm supportive of that. Be very open to that. I know the council will be too.
Thank you. Next question. Yes.
Mayor, you've mentioned about the 7 balanced budgets. Could you give us an idea of how the mayor monitors the finances of the city?
I meet with my finance director almost every day because I will tell you this, the most important thing those of you that's wanting to be an elected official, the most important thing you do as an elected official is properly manage the taxpayers' money. It's real simple. You got so much coming in, you got so much going out, and you gotta keep it between the road ditches. And, and that's, you've gotta work, if I do one thing every day almost, is I look at those finances. And I make sure that, you've got service levels you gotta hit, but you've also know that you've got so much money where you gotta run that balance. And the way I can do a balanced budget is that at the end of the year, I look at how much we got, and then I'll figure usually about 3% growth, and I'll get pretty close. I think 2 years ago, it was like 2.7, last year it was over 5%. And then this year I figured another 3%, we're getting 5. But you don't do that every year. That's why you gotta keep your eye on the finances. You know what I'm talking about. But you gotta stay on top of the money, because if you let that get out of whack, because when I came into office, we were, the finances were tough. We're in the middle of that recession, and we figure almost, I think it's over 65% is sales tax dollars, and when that sales tax dollar is not coming in, you better be a good money manager. You'll go down quick. And but it's all about just looking at those finances, staying on top of it. Paul Becker and I, we were meeting yesterday on that. We just go over it, over it, over it, and over it again. But you got to do that. That's the most important thing you do. Then everything else, then you can make it work. It's like the budget on your house. I mean, or your home. That you got so much coming in, so much going out. You got to manage that budget. And then you either got to do one of two things. You either got to cut your budget, or in this case of the city, cut the services, or you got to come in and get more revenue, which means, what that means, that you have to raise taxes, and you try and keep everything balanced where you don't have to do either one.
Thank
Easy
you.
to say, hard to do. Yes.
Thank you. Next question. Yes, sir.
Do we have a contingency fund for disastrous events?
I do. I'm sorry. Yes, I do. $3 million. And I have $5.7 million is in case there's a major, I've got the emergency fund, which is $5.7 million. Then I've got a super emergency fund, which is $3 million for the cash flow stuff. And the 5.7 keeps us going for about 60 days. And then, through good money management, we've got another $5 million sitting there. So in case we get anything happen, or if we want to, like Kessler Mountain, the purchase of Kessler Mountain came out of the extra reserve that we had. And I mean, if you don't have that, when some opportunity like that comes along, you can't do it. So we do have a super emergency fund, about $3 million, and then your 60-day emergency fund is about 5.7.
So if we have another ice storm, we'll be.
We're ready to go. When I came in, it was more challenging.
Thank you. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel about issue 3 on the ballot, the job creation? It seems like it's a pretty broad issue with sort of not many boundaries.
Well, I've read this several times, and first I want to make it clear tonight that I wholeheartedly support economic development and job creation. I've always done that, and I can't speak for every other mayor in the state of Arkansas. I mean, that's something they've got to decide with, and I certainly have supported the idea of such types of partnership described in issue 3 is, I believe, as long as they're managed properly. I mean, you've got to, once again, we get back to money management, and I see the advantages of these type of partnerships, but I also am very cautious. I'm always cautious. And I think that, and this is gonna be up to the people. Y'all are gonna decide what we do here on this. And if it passes, I hope there will be some sort of enabling legislation that gives us some guidelines and some rules to go with, because you just can't, you can get into a lot of trouble if you just borrow more than what you can pay back. So, of course, I'm cautious, but I'm always cautious when it comes to money, because that's not my money to begin with. That's y'all's money, and you got to be careful with it. So, Amendment 3, y'all gonna make a call on that, and then whatever you decide to do, that's what we'll do around here. But I will tell you this: whatever's passed, I've had a contract with the Chamber of Commerce for years around here, and I've got deliverables on that contract. So it's not gonna be a large step for me. I mean, I'll be able to adjust, but I can't speak for any other mayor, because I always have controls over, and I take it to the council and I said, here's what we're looking at. You all decide what you want to do here, but we're always cautious, and we always have deliverables, and we haven't run into any trouble. But I'm not saying somebody else won't, because I think there needs to be some guidelines on it. I think the legislature probably needs to set some guidelines on it. But again, it'll be up to y'all.
Thank you. Next question. I think she had her hand up first. I'll get to you next. Yes, ma'am.
It seems like the city's doing a lot of things right when it comes to economic development, from infrastructure to quality of life to equal rights. What would you say to people who claim without proof that Fayetteville is losing business to other cities?
I think that's a bunch of hogwash. I mean, we probably lost some businesses, but everybody does. But I'm telling you, when I look at numbers coming from the Chamber of Commerce, and they tell me that we're averaging a new business a day, I believe we're the startup city of the South. Because these smaller businesses are coming in here every day. It's like 3 employees, 5 employees, I can't see it. I always like, and 10 employees. But I think it's going to be all the little pieces coming together that makes the whole picture of the puzzle of this city. And we're not business unfriendly. I've never been business unfriendly. And when they tell me everything's going north and everything's falling apart, you know something, folks? I don't think the glass is half empty around here. I think it's not even, I think it's beyond half full. I think it's overflowing.
Right.
I think we're on the cutting edge of what everybody needs to be doing in this country. And I just don't buy that, because I have people coming in here, every other little business come in every day. Thank you, Mayor. We love what you're doing here. It's a progressive, it's an open, it's a freewheeling kind of city, and we love that. And we want to locate here. And they want a place where everybody feels a part. And that's what I've learned about business development over the years. People want to come where there's a place that stands up for equality and that everybody's a partner in the CDC. They told me years ago that you can't look at it in what's in it for me, and you can't just look at a segment. You got to look at a very broad base. It's not always just about development. You do have to have development, but you need to look at the way you develop. Your city's going to grow, but you have to decide how it's going to grow. And if you're going to talk about accepting everybody, then all these different businesses, I believe it promotes just a whole culture for a city, for those people that come in here and really feel part. I want people to feel welcome here and a part and happy and moving and energetic. That's what I see. That's what I believe. I think you all believe that. I mean, this city isn't falling apart. You spend, some folks, I'm running out of time here. We built a flyover. We built Van Ash. We built a parking deck. We built a regional park. We built Crossover Road, Garland Avenue. 79 miles of trails going to be on the ground by the end of this year. We built 21 miles of sidewalks for kids where they can walk safely to school. And tomorrow, we open up the first phase of our western bypass, Rupel Road. So we're business leaders. We're open for business. Thank you. Yes. Oh.
No, yeah.
Sorry.
You're good. Yes, sir.
Coming like a town hall meeting, yes.
Actually, I have a question from someone who couldn't come tonight. It's not one of your opponents, but there wasn't one on the internet. So the question was, what have you done in your next term to help increase retention of quality city employees that serve our residents?
I will tell you, the city staff, we work together as a team. We work together as a family. And you know, what we try to do is say we're all apart and we do things together. You know, I don't micromanage my staff. You know what what I believe, the way I run this city, if you're gonna be a good leader, you gotta develop other leaders. And they in turn develop other leaders, and on and on and on it goes. But I'm gonna tell you this, there's not a morning that I don't come in to the city and I see Toby who scrubs our floors down there, and I tell him, thank you. Because you know what? If he didn't scrub those floors, that building up there would be filthy. I'm the mayor, that's my job. But we all work together, like a team, like a family. And when there's that atmosphere there, and they know you're gonna take care of them, well, they're gonna take care of you, and the wheel's just gonna go round and round. And we have people, you know, we have a position come over, we'll have 45 and 50 people apply for positions here because they want to come to this kind of environment. It's about, and you lead by example. You know, my day starts at 6 o'clock in the morning in that office. In a short day, 6 to 6, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning and I'll work till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. You know why I do that? Because I love what I'm doing and I love this city. And whatever's at the top of the organization, I can assure you that's what's going to filter down through your organization. And if you love the city and you love that staff, they're going to love you back, and they're going to love the citizens going to love you back. And that's what it is. That's what it's say.
We've got time for a few more questions. Yes.
Mayor, I was going to ask this of everyone if they were here, but it seemed like it's
Lucky me.
some question, right? If you could ask both of your opponents a question that you feel is would show exactly what kind of character they would exhibit being mayor, what would that question be, and how would you answer that yourself?
Do you love the city? I do. That would be my question. See, I work all day, I work all night, I work holidays, I work weekends. And they asked me, this is how I would answer it. They asked me, don't you ever get tired? And I said, yes, I do. I get tired a lot. But you know the way I look at it? If I can hold out one more hour, one more minute, I got me one more chance to help one more person and possibly change one more life. And that's why I do what I do. That would be the way I would answer that. I don't know how to answer that. That's how I would answer it. I love this city, I love the people. It's real simple stuff. Compassionate leadership, service, taking care of folks. You know what's great about this city? Folks, it's not what we market around here. It's what we believe. We believe in one another. We believe in taking care of one another. When somebody's hurt, we all hurt. We serve one another. It's just about service and love and compassion, taking care of one another. I just want to know if they'd love the city. Because I do, and I know you do too.
Thank you. Couple more. we have any. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks. Lots of questions tonight, Andrew.
It's okay.
Thanks for doing this. So we've talked just briefly about kind of Northwest Arkansas as a region. So I'm wondering what you feel Fayetteville's role is in Northwest Arkansas as a whole region. I know that I see Fayetteville as a leading city in a lot of ways. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the role of our city within our whole Northwest Arkansas region.
We're gonna be on the cutting edge. You know what we're gonna do? I've got a sign in my office. It says the only mistake you make around here is do nothing. Let me tell you what we do. Here's my philosophy. We throw 10 things out there. If we hit on 3, we're in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know what anybody else is gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. We do stuff, like I said, we do stuff that are kind of cutting edge and new and aggressive, and we're aggressive about being progressive around here, and that's it's who we are. I mean, we're not like, we're all together, and everybody. I bet if you brought all the mayors up here tonight, they'd all want us to tell you they're great regional players, but they want their city to be the best in the region, and I do too, and I know you do too. We need to lead, we need to excel, and we all need to work together. It's a great region, we all work well together, but we all compete with one another too, and that's good. It's kind of like, football season. Getting that championship game, if you're not playing one another, then you want to beat whoever is Fayetteville or Springdale's playing. I mean, you want them to win if you can't win.
We've only got one.
But we always want to win around here. We always want to win around here. But, this is a great city. I love this city. Progressive, cutting edge stuff. That's what we bring to the table. We're not afraid to get out front and take a chance.
Thank you. We've got time for one more. If anyone has one more question for the mayor. Yes, ma'am.